Mr. Rowe, well, thank you for sharing your past medical history and your family history. Now, I want to go a little bit in detail in regards to your social history. Is that okay?
Okay, yeah, fine.
Okay, well, first of all, I would like to know about your home. You know, what are your living conditions at home?
I currently live with my mom, and we live like in a mobile home. I've lived in the same house for the past 27 years of my life.
Okay.
I used to be for like the 27 years I've lived there. Like the past 25 have been with my brother, but he currently just went to the military these past 2 years, so it's just been me and my mom.
Okay. And besides your mom, who would you say is your support system?
Besides my mom, probably like my aunt and uncle that I'm really close to. I would have had a cousin who I can say that was like my rock and everything to me, but he passed away a couple years back. But so today would probably be like my mom, my aunt and uncle.
Okay. I'm very sorry about your cousin, but I mean, you have your mom and your and an uncle, whoever, very supportive. So that's really good. And now tell me a little bit about what your typical day is.
So I used to be a teacher, last year, but I just currently got into PA school. So I've been doing that since August, right around. You know, we had like a 2 academy we had to go to, and so typically I'll get up about 6 every morning. You know, I'll kind of get dressed. I'll go to school. I go to school. It depends on the day. Some days are long, some days are really short. So yeah, typically normal days like kind of like a job, like a 9 to 5, just depending on the day whether it's long or not. But yeah, basically what it is.
Okay. And so, are you a full-time student?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we have to take like 17 hours. I think.
17 hours. Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
What about any occupation currently?
Currently, no.
No.
Not at the time.
And in the prior years, you mentioned that you were working as a teacher. Give me your typical day as a teacher.
As a teacher, I'd wake up about the same time like I am as a PA student. I would go to school like around 7:30 every day, make my copies, you know, stuff like that. And go through the day, teach my students, get out by 4, go home, work out, and yeah, maybe watch ESPN or something like late at night.
Okay. And now I want to ask you a little bit more. Now, currently, what is your nutrition like?
My nutrition,
as a full-time student.
Yeah, nutrition. It's got a little bad. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't take my time to cook my eggs in the morning or, you know, any toast or anything like that, you know. So I kind of eat on the go. I eat Chick-fil-A almost every day in the morning. Get my little chicken minis. And lunchtime, I typically eat a sandwich every day, sandwich with chips. And at the nighttime, it just depends what my mom or aunt and uncle have made by the time I get back home. You know, so there's basically like the common meats and potatoes, whether it's Salisbury steak or whatever they made, I'll eat.
Okay. And in the years before, is this the same?
Pretty much the same. Maybe, you know, before I didn't eat like chicken minis from Chick-fil-A every morning. You know, maybe I eat like eggs or toast or something a little more. But I mean, typically it's the same diet I've had the past few years.
And in regards to exercise, I know you're a full-time student. You must be extremely busy with 17 hours, but what is your exercise activity?
So I used to, when I was a teacher, I had more time to work out. Right? I felt like I had more time to work out. And so now I used to work out like 6 days a week. Now I only work out about 3, maybe 4 days out of the week.
3, maybe 4 days. Okay. Now, this next part of the questionnaire it's going to be a little bit more personal. Okay. So one thing I want to mention is anything you say to me is extremely confidential. Okay. I cannot, you know, it's going to stay between both of us. And it is very personal. So I mean, if you don't feel comfortable answering those questions, then it's totally fine. Okay. So I want to know a little bit more about history of alcohol.
Alcohol, I drink it occasionally, like when I go out with friends or, you know, if there's like a game on and we all get together, I'll drink it. I don't drink it, like, I don't ever go home and feel like, yeah, I need alcohol today. It's just special occasions. Typically I'll drink beer for the most part. I don't really drink liquors that much. Again, only when I go out with friends and we have like a shot or two. That's really about it as far as alcohol goes.
How much would you say, how many beers you would have in a month?
In a month? If I had to take a good guess, I'd say maybe like 8 to 10.
8 to 10 a month. Okay. And in the years before, is this different, or has it increased?
No.
Has it decreased?
About the same.
Okay.
About the same. Hasn't really changed.
Now I want to know a little bit more about your history. Have you ever smoked?
No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Currently, you're not smoking.
No.
What about the years before?
Mm-mm.
No. Okay. Now I want to talk about any drugs that you may be currently using. And what I mean by drugs, I mean recreational drugs.
Currently right now, no. No.
And years before?
One time we were at a rave and I popped a roll. One time. That was the only time I ever did, any kind of drug.
Okay. And so you said that's the only time?
That's the only time.
Okay. Now I do want to know a little bit more about your sexual history.
Mhm.
So currently, are you sexually active?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
When was the last time you would say you had sexual intercourse?
Last week.
Last week?
Yeah.
Okay. And how many sexual partners would you say you have?
Going back like
Well, currently how
currently
many
right now,
sexual-
just one.
Just one.
Just one.
And throughout the previous years?
I used to be bad in high school. So about 14, 15 around there.
15?
Yeah.
Okay. And so you said about 14. So throughout these events, did you always use protection?
No.
No.
Very rarely ever.
Very
To be
rarely.
dead honest with you, yeah.
Okay. And would you say, have you ever been tested for any
Yeah.
STDs?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any
No.
history?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Now let me. Okay, and it's extremely important to use protection all the time.
Yeah, I know.
Too much for the prevention of STDs.
Mhm.
But I wanna thank you. Thank you for sharing all this information for me.
Mhm.
Again, I want to emphasize that this is all confidential. Anything you told me during this conversation, I cannot tell anybody. It is extremely confidential and it will stay between us.
Okay.
Again, thank you.
Yes. No, thank you.